This thing's driving me crazy. When it's not flat or almost flat, it seems to do okay, but then when it gets at a steeper angle, it just, I don't know, for whatever reason. Yeah, so here I'm just moving the mower through some motions to kind of mimic as if I was mowing on a hill, back and forth, up and down, just to see if the mower will stall out. Doesn't appear to be doing so. It looks like the air filter is rattling off, but it's not. It's actually on there solid firm. Here I took off the gas cap. Someone suggested it might be a vacuum issue, but the cap is on just loose, and it's still running just fine. Until now. Now it's starting to stall a little bit and waver. Cap. I follow the suggestion, cap, keep it a little bit loose. I mean, the filter's a little dirty, but not too bad. There's fuel in the float bowl. Brand new spark plug. It might not be getting all its fuel. I've had the float bowl off a couple times. Cleaned it up, make sure. Took the float off, took the needle out. Ran wires through to clean out all of the ports that you could. Sprayed it with brake cleaner. Air hose. Not sure what left to try. So yeah, it's running rough, and I did a little bit of extra research on good old YouTube. And there's a thing called an auto choke on these engines, and the auto choke for this one is located right in there. And basically all it is, it's when the engine warms up, a pin starts to move out and affects the choke. So so that, you know, the choke is a certain way when it's cold, so that it'll start, and then as the engine warms up, you know, the choke goes the other way, and your motor should run until you run out of gas. So this pin that slides out, where am I at? This pin that slides out might be sticking. So I'm going to take a heat gun, and I'm just going to point it right here, and we're going to see with some heat applied if that pin's going to come out. If it does come out, then I'll stop with the heat, let the engine cool down, and we'll see if it goes back in. Well, it might not go back in because it might need the pressure to this. So yeah, I think it might need to be spring-loaded. Anyway, that part of the experiment might not work, but we'll put some heat to it now and see what happens. So yeah, you can see it starting to come out there. And there's a resistance. I can't poke it back in because it's hot. So let's let that cool down a little bit. Yeah, so I can push that back in. So it's, I don't know, it's working. I'm gonna try and haul that out. Yeah, so it comes out easy enough. So here we are. It's just there's some crud on this. They call it a wax. I forget what they call it, a wax thermocoupler or something. But this pin comes out because I had it out. And now it won't come out. There we go. On Amazon they range between $18 and $40. OEM labeled at $40, 38 something, and you can get them, you know, aftermarket for half that price. So that's the auto choke. I can order a new one. I've ordered a new one, so it's just, I've got to wait a week now for it to show up. That pops in there right easy. You can see here where that auto choke presses into right there. It's free, so it's not seized. So that pin presses in here, and when it does, it moves the choke. So when the engine gets hot, it pushes it this way. And when the engine cools down, it does it this way. So when that auto choke pin comes this way, the engine starts to heat up, it opens the choke. So when it's cold, it's like that. It's not sticking either, so I mean everything seems to be working. But I guess that auto choke part needs to be replaced. Try it and start and see if it starts cold. The gas is on. So while this minute runs, it warms up, and we start to see now the choke is moving. So we can see that the auto choke pushed, you know, like it's supposed to. Now when this engine, as this engine cools down, you should see it coming this way again. Not sure how long that'll take. Probably take a lot longer to cool down than to warm up. But if the spring on that choke mechanism is strong enough, it should push that pin right back and function like it should. Expedite this by okay, so you can see it starting to move now. That they're starting to move back that way. So that auto choke pin's not stuck. I'll replace it anyway. The yard again. Get this started and see if we can finish mowing. So that didn't solve it. I don't know, every time it gets to the top of the driveway, it dies. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded, is what it might be. If the float was sticking, if I just ran it here in the shop, if the float was sticking, it should eventually stall. That didn't happen. Now maybe with, jostling of the lawnmower over, uneven terrain. But I also tried that earlier here in the shop of while it was running, I would up and down with it and swinging it side to side and didn't stall. But for some reason, when I get to the top of that driveway, it stalls. Maybe it's a sign I shouldn't mow at the top of that driveway anymore. Who knows? It worked for years. The mowers worked for 5 or 6 years. I think that's how long we had it. Never an issue. Had trouble starting it last year, but once you got it started, it ran okay. I don't know. Mystery of the universe.